Who are you?
Oh, I like this one.
Thank the spirits, they've got his Garin.
See? Just fine.
Ah, that's about how tall I expected the Wayfinder to be. I think.
Someone explain to me what this dove wreck is doing here.
I do not want to see this place in ruins over something petty.
Are you well? How is your mind? Is your power... your head?
I am home.
Wasn't sure you'd make it out of that one.
Nor I.
I need to connect you to one of the celestial strands. If someone could get my needle.
I could use some water.
But you don't need...
It reminds me that I'm still alive. More importantly, we have questions to answer. I would very much like to talk to you, Paitha.
Oh, and I you, Your Highness.
No titles. Not in my home.
Oh. Curious.
Let's take this somewhere more private. We needn't stress anyone else with that conversation.
Urchik will get his scar in water.
Commander, I have something to discuss with you. I'm so glad you're okay. When we woke up, the sky was...
Everything okay, Zoja?
Come on, Shaman. Let's give them a minute.
You just... let me talk for a minute, please. In order to connect to the flow and access the magical ecosystem, there's a ritual. It makes your memories fuzzy, the personal ones, at least. You've probably heard about that, unfortunate side effect. When I thought you and Iskarin were dead, I just... And now I feel very selfish for humoring the idea at all. I mean, won't I be doing the same to you? If I choose to ascend, won't I be leaving you behind? Destiny's Edge?
Zoja, I'm not going anywhere. Neither are you. Complicated wizard spells or no, you found a family. You aren't alone.
I won't remember much of our past together. And our friends can't know I'm here. Not yet, anyway. I'll be isolated and...
We'll figure that out. But it doesn't mean that I can't be friends with whatever version of you I meet on the other side.
You're a good friend, Commander.
Wayfinder, Iskarin would like to speak.
Go ahead, Wayfinder.
Are you okay, little light?
Better clarity is all. I'm okay. Really, Dagda.
It is a lot to suggest. I realize this.
Wayfinder, I'd have preferred to welcome you to our home myself, but Laban had other intentions. You spared him. Unfortunately, our troubles are not over.
As I have never had the chance, I am Paitha of House Nephos, though houses and titles given by Epilogue are less than reputable. But in my world, it carries weight. We'll need that. Just because we've felled Xeris does not mean this fight is well and done. The opposite seems to be true.
You use language that suggests an alliance.
Let me pose this to the Wayfinder wizard. Epilogue is alive and well. Thriving, even. On the backs of my kind.
Societies limp under poor leaders and recover like clockwork.
Epilogue is not comparable to Tyrian leaders. He does not simply drain them of wealth or land. He has taken to eating them.
He's feeding on other cryptids?
Our blood is his blood. And eventually, we will be dissolved.
And that is tragic.
Killing Epilogue is a mutual goal, Iskarin.
I don't meddle in foreign politics, Lady Petha. Letting him devour your entire people, while upsetting, could ultimately help Tyria. Can't start another invasion without bodies, can he?
But he can come here himself and do the same to this world. And he is quite fond of it.
I've turned away many beings from outside, especially after the gods and the damage they wrought. I have also neglected to ask for help, and to accept it when I've needed it most. Wayfinder? Thoughts?
It doesn't sound like we have much of a choice.
I promise. No deception.
The Astral Ward needs to recover before we take action. But I'm not opposed to hearing a plan.
Your air is a delicacy to breathe. And I could use that indulgence. I trust that Iskarin will help where he's able. But now, I want to ask you. You have saved your home world more than once. And now, I am asking you to help save mine.
Want to walk me through the plan?
For now, I just need you. The Cryptus would be overwhelmed if too many of Iskarin's people came through. But if you come in with me and help rally support, we can prepare them for the push against Epilogue.
Do you think they'll trust me?
Far more than they trust their king. And I need them to trust me.
Then I'll go with you.
Good. I'll leave you to your friends, Wayfinder. I'm sure you've much to discuss. At first, it was simple curiosity. Saris was not wrong. You are a delicacy to us. Ceres also angers so easily. I couldn't miss the opportunity to throw a stone into his pond. But then I saw what you could do. I felt what you had done. We may be born of different rules, but strength recognizes strength. And helping me kill Ceres proved all that I needed. Of course not. The emotions of your people may smell of wine, but your flesh is not for me. I first tasted your aura quite some time ago. I didn't know it was you then, but you died, and then came back. I felt that ripple, even if it was brief. There are many realms that linger near yours. I assume they felt it too. When you fell into Ceres' trap and first came to Nyos, I felt that ripple again. Your life has been precarious. Besides, I needed you alive. Ceres and Deimos were always horrible. Epilogue encouraged that. He raised them to follow his orders and to consume. At least Deimos had the slightest bit of reservation. But even he was too focused on bloodlust. Managed to wiggle past his Garen's barriers, only to get trapped and killed. Ceres never stood as tall as our brother. Not in Epilogue's eyes. He tried, but death was his fate. And dying by your hand was a far kinder fate than by Epilogue's. So no, I do not mourn him. I mourn the brothers I never had.
You're my new wayfinder.
I am. And you're the one we fought through an army of Cryptus to save?
I am.
Iskarin,
Very informal for someone who's never met me.
Sorry. I've heard so much about you.
I don't care what you call me. Iskarin is comfortable. He is comfortable. But I've been called many names. And all of them are as true as this one. I've lived many lives. And I haven't always looked like this. You've always been a mystery to me. You first caught my eye in your pursuit of Zaitan. I started to piece it together.
You've been watching? Why didn't you help?
It's not my job to interfere with nature. The path unfurled as expected. You're alive. Most of your friends are alive.
Most of them?
Oh, calm. Life is death, and things could have been far worse, I promise. I do want to thank you, Wayfinder. Your aid was clearly needed here. And will be needed as you march with your friend.
Welcome back to the Cantha Report. This is me, Ray, reporting from our studio in UK. This reporter was recently given the impromptu opportunity to interview the famed Pack Commander during my first world tour. Their eyes, glossy as the Jade Sea, watched me with weariness. The catastrophe in Cantha was still heavy on their soul. We stood in their home, a residential district in Divinity's Reach. The smells of urine and fresh bread competed for attention. I asked their part in ending the dragon cycle. Hiding behind their famed veil of charm, they credited their allies. I also asked of their leadership, of which they were not shy. A hint of pride could be detected in their tone. We returned to the dragon cycle's end. While the commander was grateful for the lives saved, I thought of those who weren't. I asked what's next for the commander. With exhausted eyes, they shook their head like a child, frightened and uncertain. Near the end of our interview, the commander was pulled away in a frenzy of emotion. A letter fell into their lap as we spoke. They peeled it open with the precision of a hardened warrior. Delicate, but intentional. Their eyes glanced over the contents. Dread, but possibly a hint of warmth, brushed their cheeks before they looked to me. Sorry, was all they could mumble before leaving. While I wasn't able to ascertain their call to action, I can only assume they were pulled to the arms of another battle. Next up on the Cantha Report, I go head-to-head with Ritlock Brimstone, ally of the commander and tribune of the Blood Legion. Ritlock, how do you feel about the escalating calls for global unity following the death of Sue Wan?
Get that damn thing out of my face before I shove it!
Until next time, stay sharp, Tyria.
We're going somewhere cold after this. And on flat Earth.
Not warm. We could rent that little bungalow near the Blood-Tide coast.
Don't you two look rested?
No, unfortunately. But we've got them on the back foot. I'm more worried for the mainland than Omnitas now.
Cryptis are still coming in from Nyos, but their numbers are weaker. Eparch is scared. Poor thing.
We don't want to assume, but things are looking up.
I'm just glad you're taking a moment for yourselves. Savor it.
Oh, we will. Planning our first vacation in, what, 7 years?
At least. The Ward has very strict rules for interacting with the rest of the world. But we could use a few days away.
So, any lingering reservations about our new friend here, Dagda? Last-minute notes?
That twinkle in your eye. For what starless purpose would you ask such a question?
Oh, just stoking the forge. As always, you're so above it all.
Good of you to notice. I am grateful you gave me a chance to adjust. Much has changed, and quickly. It can be jarring for the eldest of us.
My history with immortal entities has been mixed. Here's hoping the whole Wayfinder thing is a good change.
If the heroes of this age are even half your measure, the court may even call on others in time. It may be inevitable.
Dagda.
I owe it to Mabon to try.
A well-fought victory, Wayfinder.
Impressive indeed, and you barely scuffed that perfect skin.
Speaking frankly, I agreed with Iskarin initially. You were too unpredictable a variable. I am rarely proven wrong.
I'm glad I proved trustworthy. So, what's next then?
There's still much to rebuild, physically and emotionally. I think I'll plan a memorial for Mabon.
He would appreciate that, my friend. I'll be restoring Omnitas's defenses.
Sit still, and this will go faster. If Arena were here, you know what she'd say.
Don't look at me. She already pinned me down to siphon away my blood for testing.
I am simply making sure that you are both at optimum health.
Don't let me interrupt.
Please, interrupt.
Not at all. You're next.
I'm sure the Wayfinder has places to be.
Behave. You're supposed to be a leader, Warden.
We've a moment to celebrate. Even you deserve to breathe a little for keeping us all in one piece.
Though, I could use a salve or two. That last battle reminded me that I am indeed no longer a student of the colleges.
Oh, I have something.
Rest, Wayfinder. I'm sure this calm is only temporary. When the sun rises, it'll be another day. It's only a matter of time before we need to tell the rest of the world what happened here. So, kick your boots off.
I suppose we're going to have to tell them one way or another. In case it happens again.
For now, let yourself refuel. When I was a shaman...
Go, quickly, or he'll bore you to death with a monologue about the time he drank soured ale and saw Nut's face on every...
It's a good story.
Who am I to distract from the doctor's orders anyway? Narcisse, have at him.
Wayfinder! Oh, come! Glade speaks for us both, and it's especially good to see you. When Skrit woke up, the sky was red. Cryptus were... Well, Urchik should have known that the commander would prevail.
You really can drop the commander now, you know, Urchik.
Skrit will always honor the commander's legacy, even if they've begun a new one. Or are about to begin another.
I guess I can't leave my past behind. But that's a much more complicated conversation. It was an honor, fighting with you both.
The honor was, and is, ours.
Hey, Commander. Can I borrow your comms device?
Of course.
I haven't worked on one of these things in years. What is this? Did she add voice messages? Oh, Timey.
Do you need any help working that?
Commander! What the heck? Where have you been? I've been trying to reach you for weeks. I hope whatever cave you've been hiding in at least...
Hi, Timey. Timey?
Soja? Is that you?
Yeah, it's me. Hey, Commander. Could you give us a moment?
Take as long as you need.
Yeah, I know.
And that's that.
There you are. I thought I felt something's different. It's fascinating. What you smell like, what you feel like. I'd hope that Sarah